Founded in 1957, The Gold Sheet is the country's longest-running sports betting newsletter and has been serving bettors for over 6 decades. Whether you are a lifelong subscriber, used to buy it at the newsstand, or perhaps have never seen The Gold Sheet, we want to share this amazing March Madness offer with you. Get 5 weeks of access to both the college basketball and NBA Gold Sheet newsletter for only $29. This will give you daily access to both the complete NBA and college basketball reports, which includes power ratings, strength of schedule, average line, against the spread records, and more. Get all of this for under $1 a day. It's not your dad's newsletter where games were written a week in advance, but rather up-to-date stats, scores, injuries, and all of the information to make you a March Madness expert. Head to goldsheet.com and get your March Madness on for only $29.
Hey guys, welcome in and a very happy Friday to you. March the 4th as the road to Kentucky Derby, it continues big time this week in South Florida. Gulfstream Park will be the host of the Fountain of Youth Stakes. And yeah, we've got you covered here with two of the finest, the pundits themselves here at WagerTalk.com. Marco D'Angelo in the house. Sig is here to break it down for you. 12 horses in the race. Should be a lot of fun. Also, a lot of money at stake here. And Marco, speaking of money, my friend, talk to us a little bit. How was last weekend? How'd it go for you, man?
Well, Joe, if you want to throw up that photo at the wire there, and you see the 3 horses right there. That the 4-horse won the race, and kudos to him. It's 75-1, come right up the rail. But the 10-horse and the 9-horse running second and third at big numbers, and the 10-horse was the horse that I was talking about with that replay last week. We almost had big balloons at Oaklawn Park. You know, I would have been making it rain all weekend long. I don't know where I would have been if I'd even been back yet from the club after that one. But it was so close, but yet so far away.
Story of our lives, isn't it? Yes, it is. Talk to us here, Sig. Were you so close but so far away last weekend, or what do you got going on this week for us?
Nah, Joe, I don't have this week's edition of Bad Beats for you. If Marco was making it rain anywhere after last weekend, it would have been the Wing Place. So I don't think he'd still be at the club. He would be making it rain at Wing King, though.
Yep. Damn straight he would have, man. You got a 100-piece, and we would have lost Marco for a couple of weeks, that's for sure. But, guys, in addition, listen, he might have gotten beat by a 75-1 shot there in that race, but I can tell you, guys, he has been absolutely smoking in just about all other sports there. NHL, on the hardwood. If you guys head over to WagerTalk.com right now, you guys will have the opportunity to hop on board here with Marco. 3 days, all access this weekend. Get every one of his plays in that all access opportunity, including his hockey plays, his horse plays, and, of course, his NBA/college basketball. His 4 and 5 percenters, guys, now on a 24-8 run here, the last 32. And, of course, his hockey plays have been straight fire. 30-11 in his last 41. Doesn't get any better than that. All access, every play, just $59 for the next 3 days. And while you're at Wager Talk, go over and grab Sig's daily racing reports. They are available each and every race day by 9 o'clock Eastern time. You can get those at wt.buzz/Sig. He does all the work for you guys. These are great daily racing reports. It's time to make it a profitable weekend at the track. Head over to wt.buzz/Sig. All right, so we've got a Fountain of Youth here. 12 horses, had 13, one scratch there. We'll get to that. But we will go in order here so you guys can break down this 12-horse field. And I believe, Sig, we're going to start number 1 with you here. Marco me in 20-1. Of course, it's the 20-1 shot. Marco was gracious enough to let you start us off here with this Tampa Bay Downs horse. Talk to us.
Yeah, Joe, this colt, this colt out of Social Inclusion has 2 wins in a second and 3 career starts, including a win last out in the Pasco at Tampa Bay Downs in January. in that last start, he was pretty impressive. He battled. They went very fast in the front end. He still had enough left in the tank to finish strong there and get the win there. But my concern with his colt is that this is the furthest he's going to be asked to go so far, going a mile and a 16th tomorrow in the Fountain of Youth. All his previous races were done at the sprint distance of 7 furlongs or less. He prefers the race on the front end here, and that inside post should suit him pretty well. But I'm concerned, like I said, about the distance is one thing, and then this is going to be the toughest field that he's faced in his short career here. If they do go faster on the front end, it's not going to be as easy to hold off the late charge as he's seen in some of his previous races with a much classier field here than he's going to see in the Fountain of Youth. I will not be using Barkamian here on Saturday. He is a toss for me.
All right, tossing the 21 shot. Let's see what Marco thinks of the number 2 horse here, Simplification, 5-2 morning line. We do have a jockey change, I believe. Castellano for Jose Ortiz. Didn't we just see Simplification at the Holy Bull, Marco?
We did, Joe, and what we saw in the Holy Bull was some diversity from the horse. Now, whether this was self-imposed by him as he blew the gate, got away dead last as they broke out of the gate. Normally, this horse likes to be on the lead or just off of it. He had to race from behind, and he actually really impressed me in how well he did race from behind. And in this race on Saturday, there is some speed in this race. Now, he's got the 2-hole, and he's going to have to try to move forward out of the gate, or he could get buried down at the rail. So although I don't expect him to be on the lead, I also don't expect him to be coming from dead last. I think the move to Ortiz, Jose Ortiz, will have the horse breaking the gate well and then sitting just off of the pace. That diversity that he showed last week can really move this guy up the charts in the race in the road to the Kentucky Derby. If you have a horse that can race both ways, you can make a decision when the gate springs and how the pace is being set. If it's a fast pace, pull off in stock. If it's a slow pace, go on to the front. So I do like his chances in this race, but the morning line odds of 5-2, since we had the scratch of Todd Pletcher's horse, I think that's a little bit too short on this horse with some other really good horses in the field. He will be on my ticket, but I don't have him in the win spot.
All right, and now I know exactly why Marco was nice enough to hand you the odd horses here. Sig, as we look at number 3, Dale Roman's Howling Time. With Joe Talamo, another 15-1 shot. As much as Marco loves talking and showering Dale Romans with praise, he figures it's your turn to do it, Sig. Let's hear what you think of number 3.
Well, Joe, I have excellent news for Marco. Dale Romans has 2 horses in here, and one of them is an even horse, so we are going to get to hear Marco rant about Dale Romans a little later in today's show. But like you said, this is a Dale Romans trainee. He's out of Not This Time. He's going to be making his 3-year-old debut here on Saturday. Last time we saw this colt was at Churchill Downs in the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes in November, where he set a nice early pace in that race there. He faded late, though. That effort, though, was flattered recently by horses who finished ahead of him. Smile Happy ran second in his most recent Derby prep, and both Classic Causeway and White Abaria won their most recent preps. So it's going to be very interesting for me to see Howling Time and how he performs here in his 3-year-old debut. He's been working very fast, which is not common for a Romans trainee. And Romans is a trainer. He leaves me scratching my head at least once, always during the Derby trail. I know he's left Marco scratching his head so many times that there's not much hair left up there. But I think Howling Time is ready for a big effort out of here. He might need a race under his belt, being his first race after this long layoff here. But I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on this colt here to win here, but I'm going to use him generously underneath my tickets here. I think he might be a big-time racehorse here for us.
All right, good stuff. Let's go to number 4, In Due Time here. Marco, Kelly Breen trained, Paco Lopez on board, 6-1 in the morning line. Tell me what you think of In Due Time.
Well, In Due Time is out of a sire that's getting a little bit of publicity. This horse has been siring some decent horses early on, Not This Time, the sire. And I look at this one. This is one of those horses you hear me talk about at this time of the year, has the license to make a major jump up. He's only got 3 career starts. And those 3 career starts, he's got 2 wins in a third. He can set just off the lead. He's got good gate speed. He likes to be in a stalking position and then pounce in that last turn. And that's what he did in his last start. Could that last race have been the light bulb race as he drew off in that one? He has Paco Lopez aboard, who's been on him for his last 2 starts. What I like about this horse is, as I said, he's only had 3 starts. But if you look at the speed figures in those 3 starts, even though they were all allowance races, he has improved dramatically speed figure-wise in all 3. That's what you want to see in a horse this time of the year. Now, is he seasoned enough to go with some of these other horses that have already raced in graded stakes? That's to be determined. But I don't want to leave this horse off my ticket and have him run me over. I'm going to have him on my ticket on the bottom side. I think this is a horse that is getting better with each and every start. Take a look at In Due Time, the 4 horse.
All right, there you go. Moving on, number 5, Dean Delivers. Mike Yates trained here, had some success. 7 furlongs, I believe, at the at Gulfstream there a couple of months back. Well, what do you think here, Sig, of Dean Delivers at 15-1?
Yeah, Joe, he won his debut here at Gulfstream back in June, and ever since then, this Cajun Breeze gelding's been the perennial bridesmaid here with 3 straight runner-up performances. But the remarkable thing is they were all by less than half a length, including last month in the Swale Stakes here at Gulfstream. He's another horse like the one horse that's going to be going a route distance for the first time for Mike Yates, and he hasn't had much success when he's stretched out his trainees here. This gelding looks more like a sprinter to me. But at this time of year, we've talked about it many times on the show. Derby fever hits the connections here. It gets really contagious. And I think the connections here want to see if they have a shot. But I don't see Dean Delivering on Saturday. He's a toss for me.
All right, tossing it out. Moving to number 6, Rattle and Roll with Kenny McPeak. Saw this horse, I believe, back in October at Keeneland here. What do you think, though, Marco, at an 8-1 morning line?
Yeah, Rattle and Roll, making his debut for his 3-year-old campaign. I really wish he had one more start under his belt, but I think this horse has a license to really jump up. Horse has been training well in the morning, and if you go back and watch that Breeders' Futurity, his last start back in October, the sweeping move that this horse made wide around the turn. I mean, it was a long, sustained move, and he swooped the field and drew off. And to me, that was the light bulb race. They quit with him after that race to get him ready for his 3-year-old campaign. He's had 4 starts. 3 of the 4 were all good starts. In his first race, he came from out of the clouds to finish a good third, made up a lot of ground, was 5 back of the 2 leaders in that race who ran off in the race, but he did swoop the rest of the field. Then in his second start, something happened in that race, and the jockey had to pull him up. Now, obviously, it wasn't anything serious because he come back and raced a month later and won, going away by 3 lengths, and then followed it up with that big race in the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity at the end of October. I like this horse's chances, and if you remember a few weeks back when we talked about Epicenter, this is a horse you might want to grab a little bit of a futures wager on, because if he races big here, his odds are going to go down, and I don't have the odds in front of me, but I know they're big on Rattle and Roll, and I think he could possibly rattle and roll down the stretch on Saturday, because there is a lot of speed in this race, and if the race falls apart with a speed duel on the front end, look for Rattle and Roll to be flying in the stretch. I'm going to have him on my ticket. He's going to be my price horse this week.
All right, good stuff there. Moving on, number 7, AP Secret. Saffie Josephs brings in Tyler Gaffney on the ride here, and that's always a good sign, isn't it, Sid?
Yeah, Gaffney owns the 3rd leading jockey at Gulfstream, and Saffie Joseph's the 2nd leading trainer right now during this championship meet. So you have a nice little connection, jockey-trainer connection there, this colt out of Cupid. He's hit the exacted in all 3 of his career starts, but like In Due Time, this is going to be his first stakes race, and he's going to be without Lasix again after having it in his last outing here. We just talked about Joseph and Gaffleone. So basically, the two of them, when they hook up in the last 30 days, have won at 25% rate or won in every 4 races. So it's going to be interesting to see, though, how Gaffleone attacks this race, as AP Secret has only raced on or near the lead here in all 3 career starts. It doesn't appear that he's going to be able to get to the front here, though, coming out of the 7 post from the gate. So I think Gaffleone might take him back and try a late run here with him. Or they could press the early pace, but they risk not having anything left in the tank on this one. While the works have been fast here, my gut tells me that AP Secret will not be revealed on Saturday. I won't be using AP Secret. He's a toss for me again.
All right, moving on here. Number 8, Emmanuel, and here he is, Pletcher. Luis Saez here at Gulfstream Park. 3-1 morning line, Marco. What do you think?
Yeah, this horse is going to end up being the favorite in the race. They're going to jump on the Todd Pletcher horse. He's 2 for 2. I wish this horse had another start. He did race January 30th, so he has had a race under his belt this year. But they were both in maiden. The first one was a maiden special weight, and then he had an allowance race, winners of 1, and he handled both of those. But he's stepping up into stakes company this time, and he's stretching out. So you've got 2 questions he's got to answer. He does pick up Luis Saez, who jumps off the 10 horse, Giant Game, and no question reason there for jumping to this horse. Emmanuel is a serious horse for the Kentucky Derby. And when you look at this horse on Saturday and see him in the post parade, he is a big physical horse. He has the look of a Triple Crown horse. I think that this is a horse that's going to be a major player on the road to the Kentucky Derby. He's going to be overbet on Saturday, and I think he can get beat on Saturday. I will have him on my ticket, of course, because he is the logical horse in this race. The thing is, the added distance and the fact that he's only shown being a front runner, he's going to have some other speed going with him in this race. So a couple other factors that he's going to have to answer questions on Saturday. I don't like to answer questions at short odds, and that's what you're going to have with Emmanuel. So he'll be on the ticket, but he's not going to be my price horse on top.
All right. Moving on, number 9, Bill Mott brings in High Oak with Mr. Alvarado. What do you think here of High Oak at 8-1 morning line, Sig?
Yeah, Joe, High Oak's been on the bench here since the 4th place finish in the Hopeful Stakes last September at Saratoga. After he won the Saratoga Special in August, hopes were high for him here coming into that race, and he just never really seemed to get it going in that race. And while Bill Mott has seen success going from a sprint to a route with his trainees, this colt never went in a race more than 7 furlongs. And like I said, he didn't have enough in the tank to finish out that Saratoga Hopeful Stakes back in September. While he was racing some of the top 2-year-olds last year on the New York circuit, this will be the toughest field by far that he's faced. And asking him to do that off a long layoff makes me think this might be the first step in Bill Mott's long-term plan for this colt. I'm tossing him on Saturday, but I'm going to be watching closely to see how he performs. He may have a big effort coming up here in his next race.
We're going to move on to number 10, and Marco's favorite. I know he's had this circled, waiting for the second half of the Dale Romans entries here. How about it, Marco? Talk to me about Giant Game, 2 of your favorites in this race.
Yeah, Giant Game got me in the Holy Bull, and I was sour on him, and I gave Mr. Dale Romans a lot of shit, and I'm going to apologize to Mr. Dale Romans, as it has since been learned in that race when he stopped as bad as he did. I mean, he stopped. He looked like somebody hit him on the head with a mallet halfway down the stretch. We have learned that he flipped his palate in that race. Now, most people are wondering right now, what the hell is Marco talking about? When a horse flips his palate, it is basically cutting his air off. This is something that happens in horses. Sometimes it's just, one of those things. It's an isolated incident. Sometimes it becomes a habitual thing, and then you end up having to do surgery. I'm all too familiar with that. is I currently have a horse that's on the road back training from having to have that very same surgery. It's a minor surgery, but it's a setback. Now, the fact that Giant Game is back racing within a month means they didn't do the surgery on him. They're hoping it's an isolated incident. You do have the jockey change from Luis Saez, who rode him in that race, to Corey Lanerie. I think this is actually a great move, because if you do have a horse that is maybe prone to flipping a pallet, what you want to do is have a jockey that maybe is a tad less aggressive, so that you have a long sustained drive in the race instead of being aggressive early, which is what Luis Saez did in that race. When I watched that race live, I was a little bit baffled that they had him in the mix early in that race, and then he folded like a cheap suit. Corey Lanerie will not do that. Corey Lanerie will race this horse from behind, and I think that is this horse's preferred style. So as much as I've bashed the comparable Mr. Del Romans, maybe he'd like to come on the show and explain, what happened. That's fine too. Open invitation. I'm going to give him a second chance. I am not going to have him in my top 4, but I am going to have him on tickets to run on the back half of my trifectas and superfectas, because I think this horse will race better than he did last time. And the 15-1 price tag is too much to let go, because they're going to bet other horses and, not forgiving him for that last race.
All right, good stuff. Moving on here to Ooh Captain. Probably going to be, the longest of long shots in this race with, I believe, one Javier Castellano will be on board him again. What do you think? Any exotics in your future here, Zig?
I have to concur with you on that one, Joe. He probably will be your longest shot on the board here. This Colt Carpe Diem has only made those 2 career starts here. He won his debut in August before returning on New Year's Day and finishing 3rd in the Limehouse Stakes. He's another horse in this field, though, that has been yet asked to go the route distance. But trainer Gustav Delgado has been working on this one, going 5 furlongs consistently, so the fitness should not be a problem. But the lack of class and the poor speed figures are not encouraging for this Colt's chances here on Saturday. Oh, Captain is a toss for me again.
All right. Well, we've got Mo Donegal out there, scratch number 12 with Todd Pletcher and Irad Ortiz. So we do have number 13 Galt here, Marco, 15-1, another Bill Mott trained horse, and I believe Rosario's on top.
Yeah, Joel Rosario picks up the mount here, and this horse was also eligible, was not going to get into this race until we did have that scratch of the 12 horse. Now, by him moving into the race, in my opinion, changes the whole complexion of the race, because if you saw in his last race, he had the 1 post and he broke well from the 1 post and actually dueled with White Abarrio most of that mile. We know that White Abarrio went on to win that race, the Holy Bull, and set the fractions there. With the outside post, this horse has one choice. He's got to leave from the outside. When you're on the far outside and you're down at the rail, you're pretty much going to have to send it unless you're a stone-cold closer, and that is not his style. So if he does leave from the outside with the other speed horses we have in here, that's what I think is going to give us that lively, contested pace early on in this race, setting it up for maybe some of the closers in this race. This horse, also, if you remember when we talked about him in the Holy Bull, has a very famous sister, Songbird, and so the breeding is very good on this horse. $250,000 stud, sired by Medaglia d'Oro, and it was a $400,000 yearling. This horse is bred to do good things. I don't think Saturday is where you're going to see it, but he's going to have a factor in this race if he does leave and set those fast fractions, setting it up for somebody else. I won't have Galt on my ticket on Saturday, but he's going to help me, I believe, get the winning ticket.
All right, good stuff there, guys. Fountain of Youth here tomorrow, Gulfstream Park. So now 12 horses entered in. Time to take a look at the tickets and see what these guys like. So, Sid, kick us off here, my man. Tell us, what does your ticket look like for the Fountain of Youth?
Well, Joe, from my analysis here, as you guys can tell, I tossed almost all the odd horses, so I got something to talk about. I got Mustang Marco's horse here on my ticket. I landed on the 8 Emmanuel at 3-1 as my top selection here. He's more than ready cold. He's done nothing wrong for trainer Todd Pletcher, winning both his career starts, excuse me, by more than 10 combined lengths. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him race here this weekend. Pletcher knows a thing or two about getting Derby horses ready, and this might be his best 3-year-old right now, and best chance for the Kentucky Derby victory here. He's been working very well here, and I don't think we've seen this Colt's best effort yet. I expect that although he's been on the lead in both his career starts, I think Sias is going to take him back a little bit early, save some ground, and set him up for a big late run here. So I got number 8, Emmanuel, on top. I did land on the 2 horse here, Simplification, the Antonio Sano trainee, who won the Mucho Macho Man Stakes with a strong closing second in the Holy Bull after getting out of the gate really slow in there. Though it's a very small sample size, this guy's alternated winning races with non-winning efforts here. So if he holds true to form here, he is a contender in this field. I told you guys my thoughts on Howling Time. I think at a price, I think he's got a big shot in here. Definitely have him on your exotic tickets. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the win side there. I think he had a big shot, 15-1 in the morning line. And then my 4th choice in here, and that it was one I went between a number of different horses in here, though. I landed on Rattle and Roll. Marco talked about him, guys, but don't forget, after that big effort in the Breeders' Fraternity at Keeneland in October, he was supposed to race in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile at Del Mar, but had a hoof abscess that kept him out of that race there, so we didn't get to see him race against those top 2-year-olds here. I think that extra training time is going to help him out here, though, and the recovery from that issue has been gone very well. He's working really, really fast here for Kenny McPeak. I love those workouts there. And he's working at Gulfstream, too, so we know he's not going to have any issue with the surface here after racing at Churchill, Saratoga, and Keeneland in his 2-year-old starts here. So I think Rattle and Roll has a shot here. I'm going to use him lately on my exotics. I think he might need a race under his belt here, but I think he definitely has the ability to hit your tickets. So, guys, 8, 2, 3, 6 for me on Saturday.
There you go. 8, 2, 3, and 6 for Sig in the Fountain of Youth. And Marco, all right, you had a lot of evens. How many you got on your card here for this race?
Just 1 second now.
Oh no! Oh no!
I had to wash that chalk down. I had all that chalk on top. Okay, I can talk now. I'm going to go with number 6. Rattle and Roll, 8-1. We're going to look to get a price here. If Rattle and Roll was the horse that I think he is, this will be the last time you'll be able to see him at this price. And I am going to use him on top in this one. The 8 horse, I'm poking a lot of fun at my buddy Sig. Emmanuel is the logical horse here. He's done everything asked of him. It's just he's going to be overbet in this race. Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez, undefeated 2-year-old. We know, he had 1 race at 2, 1 race at 3. He's 2 for 2. We know that Todd Pletcher has had a history of coming through Tampa Bay Downs on the way to the Kentucky Derby. I don't think anybody's had a better success rate going this path than Todd Pletcher. So, yes, I got to use Emmanuel in there, but I want to try to run him over to get a price. Simplification, same thing. He's going to be overbet off of his last race. But if they race him from behind like they did in the last start, I think he's a major player in here, and I have him on my ticket. And then finally, In Due Time, this is a horse that I think is getting better with each and every start. You look at those speed figures. It's one thing to see a horse bump up their speed figures by a point or two, in consecutive races. This horse has been bumping them up by leaps and bounds. And as I said, when you've only got 3-4 career starts, the ceiling has not been hit yet. And I think we haven't seen the best out of In Due Time. So these are my top 4 horses. And don't forget the number 10 Giant Game. Have him on your ticket somewhere. Mr. Dale Romans is going to make amends for himself from that last race. So 6-8-2-4. for my selections.
All righty there. Not, I don't hear Sig drinking anything with any chalk comments, so we're good to go there. The Fountain of Youth Stakes, guys, going to be a big push here towards the road to the Kentucky Derby. Big race, certainly at Gulfstream Park. Big weekend of racing altogether. And I would like to remind you guys that you can head over to wagertalk.com right now and make it a very profitable weekend. You can do so by heading over and grabbing Sig's daily racing reports. They're available every race day, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Just visit his page at wt.buzz/Sig, and you'll get all of his plays and breakdowns here at the tracks all week long. And, of course, Marco remaining red hot when it comes to NBA basketball, college basketball, NHL, absolutely on fire. And, of course, he'll have his card for this weekend's horse selections, all for just $59 right now at Marco's page at wagertalk.com. No reason not to make it a profitable weekend across the board here, guys. Visit them at Wager Talk. Just a quick programming note. The show will be off next week. We'll return the following week. Somebody's got to go and yell at a horse or something along those lines, eating a pound of chicken wing. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks, guys, back on the trail to the Kentucky Derby. Until then, on behalf of Marco and Sig, guys, best of luck with your plays this weekend. We'll talk to you again soon. Good luck.
Founded in 1957, The Gold Sheet is the country's longest-running sports betting newsletter and has been serving bettors for over 6 decades. Whether you are a lifelong subscriber, used to buy it at the newsstand, or perhaps have never seen The Gold Sheet, we want to share this amazing March Madness offer with you. Get 5 weeks of access to both the college basketball and NBA Gold Sheet newsletter for only $29. This will give you daily access to both the complete NBA and college basketball reports, which includes power ratings, strength of schedule, average line, against the spread records, and more. Get all of this for under $1 a day. It's not your dad's newsletter where games were written a week in advance, but rather up-to-date stats, scores, injuries, and all of the information to make you a March Madness expert. Head to goldsheet.com and get your March Madness on for only $29.